Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. You're listening to Java with Jimmy.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is crap. Today is Thursday, June 8th, 2023, and welcome to the Java Cafe. Listen, we have two folks that are not strangers to the Java Cafe. Both of them have been with us before. Ramilda has been in talking about issues of violence, building community, incarceration, advocacy, activism. Brother D has been in and talking about a lot of the same issues, as well as he was with us in a couple of our men talks. We came together actually at his business a couple of months ago and had a conversation with him, Brother Quincy, Brother Leroy, and also Brother Anthony from the Davis system. And so they're not strangers to the Java Cafe. And also, I can unequivocally say that they are not strangers to the work of bringing about equity generally, but especially in spaces. Both of them have actively moved in spaces of attempting to prevent violence. They both still actively move at levels of direct service. And you've heard us for the past few months reference to this thing called the Healing Tour. Well, we're beginning tonight in Roxbury. And so Brother D and Ramilda are with us this morning to talk about it, talk about observations. We're going to have a sort of a freestyle Friday on Thursday. It is Thankful Thursday. So I'm going to bring them in and ask both of them, who definitely move in and appreciate wellness, to just check in. For those of you that may not know, I'll ask Ramilda to introduce herself first. And then Ramilda, end with something that you're thankful for, because this space is interesting at times. And I think intentional thankfulness is something that is beneficial for us. So Ramilda, say good morning to the folks.
Oh, good morning. I'm Ramilda. Many of you know me as Ro.
Put it down just a little bit, sweetie. We want to see your whole face.
Oh, see, I don't think y'all want to see that. I have allergies this morning, so I'm not thankful for that. My eyes are puffy.
You said you're not thankful for that?
No, my eyes are puffy. It's horrible. But what I am thankful for is, having this face and just being up this morning. A fresh start, a new day.
Absolutely. All right, Brother D. He's known for a lot of things, but I also call him Brother Reverend, Brother Donnell as well. And so, Donnell, greet the people, say good morning, sir, and name something for which you are thankful this morning.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Grand rising to everyone that is tuned in near and far. Something I'm grateful for, being a father and taking my 5-year-old son to school right now. So I'm thankful for that, to have that opportunity to be hands-on.
Tell Brother E I said good morning.
Elisha, they said good morning. He said grand rising.
Good morning, Elijah.
Oh, look at all the love here. So let's get right into this conversation. For the past few months, really, we've been meeting since October. And we have been talking a lot about issues of violence, issues of trauma and grief in our community. And through that, we came together with the city. We had a meeting. After all of the conversation, Brother D was like, let's call it the Healing Tour. It is a lot of work that folks have done in the background, but let's focus on the fact. And Brother D, I'll ask you first, why a healing tour? Why do we need a tour focused on healing?
First and foremost, praise be to the Most High God. I believe that as residents of the city of Boston, man, there's a lot that we haven't healed from over decades. You know, we've yet to heal over busing. We've yet to heal over the crack epidemic, where they threw us in prison, snatched our children away, and didn't provide housing or anything. How it was not considered a public health crisis or anything to that effect. It was, lock those guys up, war against drugs, so on and so forth. We haven't healed from that. We haven't healed from the Charles Stewart case. All right. um, we haven't even healed from the students that go to the Burke. Haven't healed from the shootings that happened there, because right after a shooting, they have to go to school the next day. So, we haven't healed from that. And then if you think about the last couple of years, the level of death, destruction, and turmoil uh, throughout our community, we haven't been able to heal from that. So the healing tour is about just giving us as a community a moment to yell, cry, scream, yell, and let it out. And then also have qualified individuals around to assist, as well as resources that we can refer our community to. Just about being a part of this village, man, and just feeling the pain at the end of the day.
And that's the point. And I'll segue to Ramilda for her perspective on why we need the healing tour. But one of the things you use the word village, and that is the end game, sort of the ultimate goal of coming back and rebuilding our village. Ramilda, you move in a lot of spaces similar to Brother D, and specifically you're a mom, he's a dad, y'all are parents. You've been very transparent about what has helped inform your work now in this space. And so from your perspective, sis, why do we need a healing tour?
All of the things that Brother Darnell spoke of, but I will add and say, since I was born in 81, I am a product of all those things, right? I'm not ashamed today to say that, yes, I'm also formerly incarcerated. I was a DYS committed youthful offender, all of that. And I will speak on myself as a resident of this city. Those things are all triggering and traumas that I'm continuing to deal with today. What's going on today in the city of Boston, those are our kids, right? So we never healed. We never had grief, as Brother Don. I'm a alumni from the Burke High School. I graduated from the Burke. I went to the Burke in the 90s when those things were happening on a constant, every day, every other day basis. And when there were shootings in school, and like Brother Darnell said, we were back in school the next day like nothing ever happened. No grief counselors or any of that. And that's why this work is important to me, because I want to give the youth what we didn't have, what I wanted, what I needed. And now as an adult, and also, going back to school, going to college and things like that, and learning other stuff, psych-wise, and understanding who I am and where I came from, being able to give young people that. And we look at the young people today, the 21-year-olds, the 23-year-olds, those are our kids. Those are my kids. Those are my peers' kids. And those young people are a product of what's going on today and suffering from what the trauma that their parents were going through. If you look at Mass and Cass, Brother D brought it up, the crack epidemic, it was different for us, right? This place was Blue Hill Ave. The people were black and brown, and the drug of choice was crack cocaine. Like he said, everyone got locked up. Your kids got taken away. There weren't no public health crisis. And I say this a lot, we were out calling our family members, our loved ones that did use crackheads, and putting them down, because that's what society labeled it as. But if you look at Mass and Class, different population, right? Most of the people are not even from this city. We're supposed to feel bad for them. We're supposed to, oh, it's a crisis, it's an epidemic, it's a disease. But it's hard for me to look at it that way when I was forced to put my own people down, when, again, it was the crack epidemic, right? Those people didn't get no services. Those people are still not getting any services. We didn't get housing. There's a program out now for families who are this quote unquote disease, that you can go into the program with your children. Your children are not being taken away. You have an opportunity instead of going to prison to go to a program. Then you're not even being charged. The police are out there and monitoring you to make sure that you're safe, right? And while people are shooting up heroin, fentanyl in front of the police. It's not a lot of those things are what's still continuing to happen and re-traumatizes us. We have to relive it. It's not fair. You know, we're full of anger and due to that, right? And then another thing I say a lot with mass incarceration, we're gonna use that as an example. It's entrapment, because when you have something like that in the hood, and you have kids that their parents are suffering. Can't pay rent. Can't low income jobs, rent is high, they can't buy food, or they're missing out, and now a young man feels like he has to help his mother. And you look at mass and cash, and I could count 20, 40, 100, 200 by the end of the night, $2,000 that I could bring back home to help pay these bills. What do you think that young person is going to do when they can't get a job? They're going to go out there and get it's an easy way. I can do it. Maybe I could get away with it because they're walking around. These are young people. Their mind are not thinking like us. We also know that your mind is not fully developed at 18, 19, 17 years old.
There's
so
another...
you're gonna go out there. So what people are not paying attention to is the young people that are going out there to try to make money to survive. Now they're getting arrested and they're going to a federal prison.
So
but
what
those
you're
people that from
you're
Swampscott,
pointing...
Situate, in all these rich areas, they're out here just doing whatever.
You're pointing to something that is cyclical, and it's a cycle of it. And when the mayor was on, I asked Dr. Basola, there is the responsibility, and we're doing it. We're working with municipality, community, and city because there are resources there. You talk a lot about cyclical things, especially around mass incarceration. There's cyclical stuff around violence as well. And so, Brother D, I'm going to come back to you and then back to you, Ro, is... And I think you said this either on a live or you did a post the other day or something, but you had reference to the reality of the cyclical of the system, that once we get caught up, everything that Ro named, everything that you named. Can you talk a little bit about, let's talk about trauma, grief, and healing in Boston. Where is, with all that we know that is set up against us, where do we have to try to employ the fight for our own healing? In consideration of everything that's real, that what both of y'all just said, where is our sort of self-healing responsibility?
That's a heavy question.
Yes, sir. That's why I asked.
Well, I'm simply going to say, man, that Brother Malcolm said it the best, right? Malcolm X said, we can blame white folks that we're here, but we can only blame ourselves for the situation in which we are in, right? So that's a heavy statement because it talks about accountability. We understand that there is systematic racism within our community, within the city, within the country. We understand that the pipeline to prison is real. We understand that they're building prisons and have been building prisons based upon third-grade test scores. We know all of that. However, what we also know is that at some point, we as a community have to, A, admit that we need some healing, right? B, admit that things are not normal. And then C, collectively figure out how we can assist each other in doing that. The admittance of it is important because often I can only speak as a Black man, right? So as a Black man, it's like you always have this Superman image, for lack of a better phrase. I'm good. I don't need to go to the hospital. I don't need therapy. Man, I'm suffering from post-traumatic slavery syndrome. You damn right I need therapy. You understand? I'm suffering from, BWB, what is it? PWB, or be walking while Black, driving while Black, you name it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm still suffering from the fact that up until probably college, my professors didn't look like me. You understand what I'm saying? That does something to the psyche. So when you think about everything about us, even on the television, You know how many times someone calls and says, "Hey man, is it safe for me to come to Food for the Soul?" What the hell you mean? Is it safe? Hey, is it safe? Yo, how you feel living in Boston? What do you mean how I feel living in Boston? I've been living in Boston my whole life. I didn't walk from hood to hood my entire life. Yeah, my community's safe. Does it need to be a lot safer? Absolutely. But to act as if we living in the middle of Baghdad is nonsense.
Absolutely.
You understand? To act as if there is the whole concept of black on black crime. But at the same time, if there's crime in the white community, they don't say white on white crime. They call it crime. If there's crime in the Asian community, it's not Asian on Asian community. It's just crime. So there are many things that are promoted in regards to us that, as my sister Ramilda talks about, that are triggers. So tomorrow, today's Thursday.
Today it's
Man, listen, I'm
night.
tired, bro. So today, when we launch this healing tour at 12 Baptist Church, what I want to say to the community is, man, please come out, man. I'm not the only one in pain. I'm just an everyday Joe, man. I'm just a citizen. You dig? I'm just a black man trying to raise my son, my youngest, my two eldest. You understand? I'm just a brother trying to be a good businessman. I'm trying to be a good coach, a good father, right? But it's difficult. There are many days it's painful. There are many times where I sit on the edge of my bed with tears coming out my eyes because the struggle is real. That I got to sit down and pray to God continuously, give me strength, keep my children safe, keep my community safe. So tonight, we just saying to the community, like, yeah, we're not the only ones in pain. We admit that there's pain. We admit that we need healing. And that's what this is.
Absolutely.
But first, I would like to say, first you have.
Everybody's hitting up Ramilda talking about, we see you on Facebook,
Right.
or she's doing work.
Exactly. I don't know why they do that, but first you have to understand that with any human being, you have to admit that there's a problem. You have to admit that there's something going on. You have to acknowledge. You have to know that there is. How am I going to heal from something when even me? You know how many times I'm told if I'm feeling sad or down, oh, you strong enough, you got this. No, I don't. Right? And a lot of people say that to folks like us because we have a hard exterior, because we might walk around like everything's okay. That's just how we play it off. That's how we get through the day. But it doesn't mean that things are okay. It doesn't mean that I don't need help. It doesn't mean, and that's not just me, that's many people. But we have to first acknowledge and know that something's wrong. Some of this stuff has been going on for so many years, longer than I've been alive, that you think it's the norm. You think that this is what we're supposed to be going through, right? We talk about violence and we talk about the young brothers out here and women, they carrying firearms or they shooting, but where did that gun come from? You cannot tell me that a kid that never left Dorchester, right? He went to Dorchester High. He lived in Dorchester. He has no reason to leave outside. Never went to any of these states and southern states at all. Never left Dorchester. The farthest he's gone is wherever the red line will take you. And he has a firearm that came from Virginia. Where did he get the gun? You know what I mean? And then we see it. We're not stupid. You have a young white boy from New Hampshire gets caught with a whole bunch of firearms down in South Bay, gets locked up. You hear about it, one quick news flash. You don't hear about it no more. You don't know what happened. But then our young brothers and sisters are the ones that you want to send us to a prison for a long time. You want to make us a menace. You know what I mean? And a lot of these times the people that sit in those positions of powers are not our uncles and fathers best friend to get us off. A lot of the time, the DA, it's up to the DA. It's the DA's discretion to press charges on you or to continue with those charges on you. A lot of the times, many of the times, if not all the time, our young people don't have a diversion. They don't have a second chance. So if you don't invest in that young person, if you don't believe in that young person, what do you think is going to happen? And then when you're sending them off to the feds at 18, 19 years old and they're doing 5 years and coming home, all you did was send them out there to build a better resources. Now they connected to people all throughout the country. Now when they come home, it's just, I got a better plug. Then what?
Ramilda, if
What
I
if
can
we
ask
saw?
you, with all that you just named, I want to go back to, because this has come up, and I wish we had, and we got a lot more minutes. Darnell talked about the reality of sitting on his bed, being a parent and a father and praying. You're a mother. You've named things as a mother. Can I ask you, with all that you just said, in consideration of what Darnell said, there have been a lot of times you've heard this thing, it starts at home. It starts at home. And it does. I agree with that. But some of our homes, you named the past trauma hasn't been addressed. Brother D named it hasn't been addressed. What is it that you would say to a parent that is struggling? They've tried, they're working 2 jobs. Pookie is 6'3" now, 170 pounds. A single mom may not have resources, or the uncles you referred to in another case. What is it that you say to the parents that are really trying and need just that word of encouragement? What would you say to those parents?
It's okay to ask for help, but I'm going to be honest with you. What can you say to them? Because another thing we fear from when it comes to asking for help is judgment. A lot of parents fear asking for help because now you feel like people are gonna judge you, like you don't know, you shouldn't been a parent or whatever, when that's not the case. You're a single mother, you're a single dad, right? It's hard, but we have to get to a space where we're not judging these parents, or where a parent can actually actively talk about what's going on, or the child can actively talk about what's going on without the fear of DSS being called, without the fear of a chin's order being put in place in a courthouse. We don't have to go that route. It takes a village, but we need to get back to that village model. We're not there. You know what I mean? If your neighbor is suffering, dealing with something, support that neighbor, help her, help him. You know what I mean? Like, as y'all know, I'm out here, I treat all these kids like they're my own. I'm a big sister to many. I'm an auntie to many that biologically, I'm not their aunt. But it starts with a good morning, good afternoon, with a sit down, with a conversation. Don't act like you better than nobody, because none of us are. Everyone praises me how I'm such a great mother. I was a mother at 18, and no, I wasn't. My mother did that. My mother stepped in and helped. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what I was doing at 18. And I learned motherhood, and I'm going to be very honest. I learned motherhood through my second child, right? And I was able to do that. But we should be able to talk to our peers, our people, our loved ones, our neighbors without judgment. None of us is better than the other. So many parents, because it's a 2-parent household, they act like they got it all together, and their kids are the most sneakiest ones. They're the ones out there doing the most.
Heidi just said, I agree, it begins at home. I came from a 2-parent home. Parents were strict, and yet my brother ended up dealing with substance use.
Right.
And so to that exact point, the reason I asked you, Ramilda, to talk to that is, one, that parents could hear from a parent that moves in this space, that advocates, that they could be some sense of firm that, keep struggling. We'll say the other side, that we have some parents that could possibly do better. We'll frame it, like that. But Brother D, if I can come back to you and ask you, as a Black man, as a you done gave us that look.
Hey, listen.
I didn't even ask the question yet.
Yeah, I already know the question you gonna ask, man, because my third eye wide open right now, brother. Wide open.
Come on.
I got 3 kings, man. My oldest king is 25. He's in the Navy. Boom. My middle son, for all intents purposes, that dude a born genius, man. Sharper than a Ginsu knife. You understand? But he's doing 18 months in a day for firearm possession. You understand what I mean? Sure. This in the midst of me doing over 20 years in the work. His mom, hardworking. His dad, hardworking. Brother, hardworking. You understand? My son, and I missed the initial sign, but my son went from prey to predator, bro. My son went from somebody pulling a gun on him at high school over a female to basically saying, yo, dad, I can't get caught out here like this.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And when you say to him, son, you don't need this, man. You got us, you got the family, what have you. Man, listen, the young person is like, nah, y'all can't be with me all the time. So next thing you know, he went a particular direction. You understand?
Sure.
And there's been countless days where I've said to his mom may have said to me, like, yo, we aimed him in the right direction. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like the young man didn't know God. It's not like he wasn't intelligent. You understand? And so from a parental perspective, this ain't theory, this is me.
Sure.
You sit down and ask yourself, damn it, what the hell did I not do? Like, how did he make this choice? You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes the whispers are going on in the background. Oh, look at Brother D's son. You understand what I'm saying? But they'll whisper behind you as opposed to in front of you saying, yo, Brother D, nah, don't whisper about me, damn it. Give me some help.
Yeah.
Because his mother and I and his grandmothers and the rest of the relatives, everybody tried to do what they could. At the end of the day, guess what God gives all of us? Choice. We
Pastor
end
Henry
up
just said it.
choosing to listen or not listen. I'm a black man. Sometimes a prophet has no respect in
In
his
your
home.
country, come.
You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, parenting throughout all of this is intense, you know? And I'll tell you, the greatest example for me that I ever had was Harry G. Wilson, founder of the Roxbury Raiders, man. My first day of football practice, I was ready to quit. Coach Harry said, hey, you can quit, son. If you quit now, you're going to quit on your family later. You're going to quit in school. You're going to quit on your job. You're going to be a quitter for the rest of your life. I was like, nah, I don't want to quit. I'm gonna go ahead and fight through this. That's the same reason I always keep going, regardless of the situation, because there was an OG named Harry G. Wilson in my community that said, quitting ain't for you. Fight through it.
Yes, sir.
But so many people, just like on Facebook a few months ago, you had all these people talking about, yo, these young people is clowns. These young people is this, using all these derogatory terms. I'm like, damn, 90% of y'all was even more wild when you were coming up.
Right.
We get amnesia a lot. We
Yeah.
want to call these young people savages, but then we get mad when they called us the ultimate predators or whatever the hell they was calling us during the war on drugs. And now we want to use these same derogatory terms on our young people.
And
The
that's
mil-
another thing, Brother D. Like, that is so true. And I see that a lot. And I tend to be always arguing with my old heads about that. Is people forget where we came from. Because we're older now. We're more mature. We're developed. We're different, right? We're not into those things anymore. But if you look back at my era, if you look at the late 80s, 90s, if you look at that, even, the dudes that are older than me that are saying these things, we have more murders a year than these young people do. There was way more chaos. Now when people are like, oh, well, they shooting or bringing the guns to the school, they did that in the 90s. It was more. At the Burke, there was a shooting every other day. I went there. I went to the King. There was firearm, but back then it was just a middle school. There were firearms in the school. They took them. They found them, right? So you're right. We can't keep looking at these kids. Oh, they savages. They doing this. They doing that. When we did them. There were kids that were being shot and killed back then too, a lot more than it is happening today. If you look at the murder rate, it's dropped. One is too many, but it's dropped tremendously from the 90s to the early millenniums to today.
it is the points you make about the numbers dropping and whatnot are definitely real. And I'm glad you made that point that one is definitely too many. We're coming up on a little bit past 9:30, but I wanted to, and Brother D is in transition getting Elijah to school, so that's why he froze a little bit, but hopefully he'll get his signal back to come close out with us. But I was very intentional in checking in with Brother D and Sister Roll around this dialogue to give some context to why we're coming together to talk about grief, trauma, and healing. Just want to clarify a couple of things. One is, Brother D talked about his business, Food for the Soul. There is dinner tonight. dinner, not snacks, chips, and peanuts and water. There is dinner. This brother is going to cook. We're going to come together at 12th Baptist. We're going to give a little context like we did here today, and we're just going to ask one or two questions, the talking, and we're going to take notes. Ramilda, I got to go by Staples and make sure we get the big post-it pads and markers. She told me make sure we have them in place. We're going to take notes, and we're going to, and the city officials are going to be there. Right now, we have about 4 or 5 different departments that are confirmed.
But let's be clear on that. I want to correct the narrative that's put out there from some folks. And no, all due respect, but I'm just gonna have to correct some people. People are going on. See, that's the part of the stuff that we talk about, the messiness and the stuff, and people know the truth, but just putting their own narrative for whatever reason. And then especially because you just did say city officials, and when James says that, we're not talking the mayor, right? We're not talking the governor. We're not talking those folks, right? It will be folks from Boston Health Commission. I believe Dr. Simon may be there, or a
Simon's gonna
representative
be
from
late,
that.
and then the trauma team,
Right.
other folks like
And but this is not about them. This is not about the city officials or anybody that's working housed at City Hall. This is from the community for the community. It's about the community. It's about the residents. There will be 4 different ones. Today, it's in Roxbury. It's about Roxbury. It's at 12th Baptist Church at 6 p.m. 12th Baptist is on Warren Street. So it's all about hearing from the community. My job as a facilitator is, like he said, to take notes and bringing back, also to hear from the community. What are the services? What are some of the services that you want to see or that you may need, right? And it all starts with hearing from you, because what's going to happen is if we don't say, hey, this is what I need, this is what I want to see, and coming together as a collective, then the people that are empowered to be in power places, whatever, they're just going to add whatever service they think we need, right? And I'm going to be totally transparent. Majority of those people do not come from our community. They don't live in our side streets. They don't live in our housing development. So they don't know. They're far removed from that. So they're relying on people like us to give them that information so we can start implementing these stuff in our community. So it's definitely a place to, you're not going to be healed today. This isn't no magic pill, but it's a start. It's a start of a conversation. It's a start of, we have to start figuring out, maybe you don't know what you need, and that's okay to say that. And let's come together and figure that out together. And for me, that's what the healing tour is about.
Brother Darnell, if we never had a narrative or a mission statement for the damn healing tour, Jesus Christ, Ramilda, I'm going to call Pastor Matt and tell him to book you on Sunday. That's our thing. But this is the reason why, and Brother D, I'll let you close out. This is the reason why I'm glad that you went there too. You talked about the fact it's not a magic pill. It's not going to happen overnight. It took us, Brother D referred to the fact of centuries and decades and all the stuff that we made space to talk about today. We're bringing that into these spaces. We're bringing that to when we're parents. We're bringing that to when we're advocates. And if we don't, it goes back to what happens when you get on the damn plane. You got to take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're no good to anybody else. And so I'll get ready to take down after this. And Sharon said, thank you, Ramilda. They said, thank you, Ramilda, for the clarification. I so appreciate this meeting is taking place. Thank you. Absolutely. Brother D, close us out. I did mention while you were in the T-Pain moment of the signal, you were cooking tonight. There's not snacks and chips and peanuts. Those have their place, but we're feeding the people.
Yes, that is correct. Shameless plug, Food for the Soul. We'll be doing the food this evening, and yeah, it'll be collard greens, jerk chicken, barbecue chicken, rice and peas, something along those lines. I'd be remiss if I did not make sure that prior to this evening, man, I want to definitely give thanks to the Most High for Pastor Willie Broderick and Minister Randy Muhammad, who have been with us for months upon months upon months.
Yeah.
Since October on the back end, working collectively together to try to make this thing happen. And, we have Minister Randy with 10,000 Fearless, and those brothers are committed to assisting and bringing forth peace through the community. And they have a peace hotline and things of that nature. And Minister Randy will be present this evening as well. He's an intricate part of the healing tour, as well as Pastor Willie Broderick of 12 Baptists, and he will also be there. They have been doing their peace walks on Fridays consistently. They just started back up because they usually shut down a little bit during the winter. So I wanted to acknowledge them, brothers, because often at times people always think we got to operate in silos. And the one thing that's beautiful about this healing tour is that, we have a Muslim minister, we have a Christian pastor that were at the table at the very beginning, right? We have a Cape Verdean woman, we have two African American males, right? And it's just beautiful, the diversity, right? Because we're all feeling the same pain. You dig? And so tonight, please, family, village members, come out. Like Sister Ramilda said so eloquently, this ain't gonna have everybody leave healed. But if it could spark that conversation for someone to say, hey, I'm hurting too. Hey, where'd you get that resource? Hey, is it okay for a man to feel pain and cry? You know what I'm saying? Hey, can this sister cry on my shoulder and me, it ain't about jumping in her drawers, things of that nature. So yeah, man, peace and blessings.
I agree with that with both of you, and ending on the peace and blessings. And that is, it's a start. It's a beginning. It's in collaboration. The city, and Ramilda said it well, but we'll reiterate it. The city officials are coming to listen. Everybody that reached out, what's the agenda for tonight? We're going to ask a couple of questions, and we're going to listen and take notes and let the community just divulge what it is they've been dealing with and what they need going forward to start to get us on that road to healing and rebuilding the village. And so I love and appreciate both of you. We have known each other for years. We have learned a lot. This has, and I'll just say this has not been easy, but we also recognize that if this was just a smooth sailing thing with no adversity, no nothing, I was taught, you need to look around and make sure that you got a good plan in place. Because whenever there's going to be impact, there's always going to be something ahead to kind of like disrupt it or whatever. And so I appreciate both of you. Please make sure, folks, tonight you guys come out at 6:30 p.m. We will be at 12th Baptist Church, 150 Warren Street in the Hester Hall. There will be food there, 4 or 5 resource tables. The neighborhood trauma team will be there. Dr. Simon, he told me, the prophet Dr. Samo, from the Boston Public Health Commission. He will be arriving late, coming back into town to be there. Don't forget, as Ramilda said, we are trying to confirm, but we will be in Dorchester on July 15th. We will be in Mattapan on on June 15th, not July.
You worse than me right now.
No, not July, June 15th, Dorchester, June 22nd, Mattapan, and June 29th, Hyde Park. The locations will be confirmed. Absolutely, Tasha will get the advertisement out. And to answer one question that I know people are asking because of this platform, we are not broadcasting. And the reason why we're doing that is in the moment, in the room, when people are there, it's very different if it's captured on a video and live. And for whatever reason, people may go back and do stuff or whatever. We want people to understand and feel that they are in a safe space. And so we will communicate that the community came out, but we are not going live and we are not videoing because people need to be able to share at a comfort level with just those that are present in the room with them at that time. And all 3 of us come from facilitating. Ramilda's been on this, and she's been trying to get me to do some stuff, wellness journey. Brother D talks about it often. And so we just want to be sensitive to those that are in the room that will divulge some of their grief, some of their trauma, and their need to be healed. And so that's it for us this morning. We're going to stick around in the background just to finish up a couple of things logistically. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Today is Thursday, so you won't see me again until Monday at 9 a.m. Again, don't forget this evening, 6:30 p.m., 12th Baptist Church, and we'll see you all there. Thank you and have a wonderful day. We're not going to do the usual closing. 6:30 p.m., 12th Baptist Church, the Healing Tour. This